All right, chat. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. We only get 2 streams today. We only get 2, not today, 2 streams this week. 2 streams. Go ahead.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Cast bread over every egg.
Are you done? Anything else?
All right, time to execute my trick.
No, 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 no! Dad, cease, cease! Is it gone? Ow!
There's our man. There's our man. There's our boy.
Are you good? Are you satisfied? Still got more? That's okay. I'll go work on it. I'll go get the game open. Because I forgot to open it already.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Go on. Let it out.
Everybody calm down!
Get Megalovanians. It's 250 because it's specifically... Oh, why did I freeze? Uh-oh. 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 Is it the game? Is it the game that's doing it? Hold on. Turn it down, turn down the settings. What the fuck is happening? We have killed her. God is dead. We have killed him. Oh my god. Tara's the only one who knows that coffee pasta. I have no idea what the rest of it is. I have decided to take a lunch. Congratulations, Beef. Go eat something delicious, like a delicious sandwich. I've had sandwiches on the brain, but I have found out recently there is no good sandwich places in my fucking town anymore. There was one I liked going to that was like a technically a macaroni and cheese place, but they have grilled cheeses on the menu. And you can add a bunch of stuff into it to the point where it's like a really delicious sandwich. They changed like their whole menu in the prices. Jersey Mike's is the closest one to me, but Jersey Mike's is ass. I've become the evil. I double dashed. What do you mean you double dashed? Sandwich? The sandwich what? God damn it. Sandwichcraft? Oh, good lord. But Jersey Mike's is literally the worst sandwich shop. It's literally worse than Subway. I'd hate to say it, but it fucking is. No, I'm not taking it back. Because it's terrible. There's nothing good about Jersey Mike's that another sandwich place doesn't do a dozen times better. Plus, Jersey Mike's is almost all cold cuts and white bread. It's the white people sandwich shop. More so than Subway. Burn the witch? That's not how you spell witch. Jersey Mike's is worse than post-allegation Subway? Yes. I have been to Jersey Mike's twice in my entire life, and both times there was plastic in my lettuce. Both times. Should I go to Whataburger? If you want fast food burgers, yeah. Otherwise, I always recommend just going to a local burger place. Because again, it's a chain. Support local businesses, kids. Those macro plastics, yeah. Was the lettuce improved by the plastic? No. Neither was the experience. The lettuce is plastic. It's so dry. It's because they use that like bagged shredded lettuce. So what I'm guessing is they just stab a knife into the lettuce bag and then slide it back. So you end up getting like pieces of the plastic bag thrown in with the lettuce sometimes. I'm taking my lunch. I've earned it. Hell yeah, bitch. Go get your lunch. Go get yourself a hot sandwich. Get yourself a meatball sub. That's like, there is a, what is it? A Firehouse Subs in my city, but it is so far away. It's on the far side of the fucking city, and I have to go all the way through downtown to get there. Usually it'd be faster to just take the highway, but since they've decided that the highway needs to be constantly under construction for the past 15 years and for the next 15 years into the future, there is literally no convenient way to get to the other side of town that isn't fucking ass. I'm officially on time off from work till Monday. Hell yeah. What trouble are you getting into? Huh? What trouble are you getting into? Share with the class. I love meatballs. Hell yeah. Jersey Mike's can't be that bad. They got music, the rhythm of the slice. Jersey Mike's is in fact the worst sandwich shop. I again, I'm not even joking. I have never had a worse sandwich shop than Jersey Mike's. No, because I changed the channel. Or I don't listen to ads. I don't watch media that forces me to watch ads. And if I'm forced to watch an ad on YouTube, my brain just turns it off unless it's something absolutely heinous, like the ketamine subscription boxes that I heard on YouTube once. Meatball loves the BDSM language confuses me. Subway sandwich. Subway sandwich. Oh, yeah, exactly. Or like this one's like built into like one of those like really, really tiny strip malls. And I mean like there's only 2 slots for stores in this strip mall. And they're one of them. I think the other one's a jewelry store. I don't remember for sure. I've never been to it because it's so inconvenient to get to. The what? Yeah, I got an ad once on YouTube that was a ketamine subscription box. And it was some like dude bro trying to sell it like it was like a cure for depression. It's like, I never wanted to do anything, but then I started product name here. And it really turned my life around. Now I go hang out with my friends every weekend. We do hiking and drinking. Ketamine loot box is wild. Not loot box, like a subscription box where they send you like enough supplies for a month to do ketamine, to microdose ketamine. I want to visit a Margaritaville one day. It's too late. You're too late, Murdoch. It is too late. The Margaritavilles are currently getting the what is it? The Red Lobster treatment. They've been bought out by an investment firm who is effectively gutting them. So everything is either Cisco prepared meals in a box or just straight up nasty. Oh, but the thing I was saying about like my favorite sandwich place, the grilled cheese place, in the New Year's, really quick, they like changed their whole fucking menu. They went from being like, okay, you want egg, you want all of these things in a mac and cheese, you want all of these things on a sandwich. And so those 2 things were the same price. Now they've changed it that it's combos. You are now required to buy a combo, which is essentially a fucking mac and cheese, a side of chips, and a drink. And then you have to tell them that you don't want it to be a combo, so then it cuts off a little bit of the price. And then you have to tell them that it's a sandwich, which then hikes the price again to the point where just a sandwich used to be $10, which again, already too pricey. Because this isn't a foot long. This is a regular, like, sandwich bread size sandwich. To now $16. 16. And my favorite Thai place in the same food hall is now $16 for their fucking curry. So now I don't go to either of those places. I lost 2 of my favorite food places in the course of fucking one night, thanks New Year's. To the point where now their food is no longer financially reasonable. Granted, the little man who runs the Mexican cafe in the food hall really loves me now. Every time I go over there now, he's like, I'm gonna spoil you real good. And he puts my food not on like the regular like stone plates that he uses. He puts them on what is basically like a raised pedestal almost like a it's like a wooden cake stand. Anybody who's seen like a cake stand that has like it's usually like a raised glass thing. It's like curved cone, flat top, and then you put like a big glass thing over the top. He has a wooden one of those. And he spoils the shit out of me. And I get like the most delicious Mexican food I've ever had for at most $12. $12 for a whole meal. Oh, and it's too, when I'm sitting there, he uses me as an example because some days, like nowadays, he seems to be the only person working there. There used to be like 2 teenagers that worked there on days he wasn't there. But now I only see him. 18 months. Now I want a churro. There are churros on the menu. I've never had his churros. Mac and cheese in a grilled cheese. I mean, the place allows you to do it, but it's also extra. So if you get a sandwich, you're like, I want you to put the noodles, or basically, I want you to put the grilled cheese itself, noodles and all, into the sandwich. Then it's like an extra $2. So then it would be about $18 if you wanted to get the same sandwich. I get special food at Blinky Blinky Blink. I was just making a joke, but now there's 18 of them. I think there's more than that because I saw some achievements that one of my friends got on Steam and it went as high as like 40. So I don't know where this is going to go. But yeah, at least my favorite Cajun place is still the same prices. That's a plus. Well, my favorite Cajun place isn't at the food hall. It's closer. My favorite Cajun place, the hop, skip, and a jump away. Hell yeah, sugar. Hell yeah, sugar. Little family Cuban cafeterias are a staple where I grew up. Still cheap too. Hell yeah. I did try the local Jamaican place. I think it was before Christmas. I think I tried it before Christmas. And it was really good. So we can support them without doxing yourself. Why are you exploring so many attics? Aren't you meant to be in the walls? I'm not the one who's in the walls. Ordain's the one in the walls. Obviously. Obviously. Of that one Cuban place in Houston? Oh, that does not narrow it down. Cuban place in Houston? Let me get the list. I thought Ordain was in the balls. Are you saying Ordain's stored in the balls? Ordain in the walls, building Legos and eating wires? Yeah, apparently. What else has been going on? I don't know if there's much else that's been going on in terms of other complaints. Ordain is microplastics. Ordain eating the spicy cabling. No, not my cabling. Those are my nerve endings. I need those to feel things. But yeah, the thing is though, is I also don't know if he's like the owner or anything, because it's like one of those places. If you've ever been to a food hall, and there's like tons of little food places inside of it, you'll often find out at different points that like those places inside, also have like a standalone restaurant. I have yet to go to the standalone restaurant. I have only been to the food hall location. About Portland is that we have one of the largest per capita number of food carts in the country. We don't have like really many food carts here. I mean, there's some, but usually you kind of just have to like, every single one of them is Mexican food. Like I can't think of a single food truck we have in this city that isn't Mexican food. We don't have pizza ones. We don't have, I think we have like one barbecue one, but it is literally only ever out at the farmer's market. Only at the farmer's market. But I think every other one that I can think of is literally like a Mexican food truck. And they're usually in the same place. Usually. Although I think it's funny that one of my favorite ones that I had like recently discovered moves from where it was in front of like a junk shop. Literally a junk shop. It was like all trash. Still pissed me off about that place at this point because they had like really cool alarm clocks. I mean, retro alarm clocks. But they left them outside. They left them outside in a burlap sack to get rained on. So all of them were rusty. But that Mexican food place moved and now it's literally sitting in a liquor store parking lot, which genuinely, I can't think of a better place for a taco stand to be sitting than a liquor store parking lot. Roadside barbecue and tacos. Goddamn, this cut. I want brisket and tacos. Ooh. Donut truck in Dallas. One of those tin RVs reused as a stand. Biggest donuts you've ever seen. There was, I mentioned it before. When I was in New England, there was a local donut place. And they had a food truck. And the person who operated the food truck lived in my neighborhood to the point when I would come home from work. And I would be stuck behind the donut truck. And I'm trying to remember the name of the place. It was something 88. Oh, it was 88 donuts. The word 80, the number 8 donuts. And they do mini donuts, unfortunately. They don't do full-size donuts. They only do mini donuts. They're like highly decorative. There's like Boston cream ones and a bunch of other kinds. Order the taco, go inside, get tequila, pick up, order, profit, nodders. Exactly, Scrumpton. Exactly. But yeah, if any of y'all are ever in around Portland, Maine, look for 88 donuts. Legitimately the best donuts I've ever had in my life. The sad thing is, though, is they're kind of expensive. I had a coworker bring in a like set of 6 once, and he shared them with me. But they were like, I think he told me it was like $12 for 6 mini donuts. Again, mind you, the size of these donuts is if you basically touched the end of your thumb to the end of your pointer finger. That's how big they are. Talking like Donut Five Guys. At least this isn't a chain. No. The New England chain is the Holy Donuts. They're potato donuts. They use potato starch, so they're really, really dense. But they're also very good. They're really good donuts. But yeah, those are the only 2 donut places I think I got to experience when I lived in New England. 2 years, and I only got to see 88 donuts. Oh no, I did go to a local bakery that was downtown that was like walking distance from my workplace. That was when I was designing escape rooms. I do miss that job. I just wish the owner wasn't a fucking chud. A British chud, nonetheless. Did you see the Daily Mail get ratioed on Twitter? Absolutely insane behavior? No, I didn't. What did they get ratioed on? Called 808. Ooh. Best donut is pink frosted or jelly filled. I fucking love jelly filled donuts. I'm British. I'm sure you are, Charlie. I'm sure you are, Charlie. Chud's as far as the eye can see nowadays. He was the business owner type that wanted everybody to absolutely bust ass, even though this dude was constantly going on vacation. He'd go on vacation. He'd like go visit his family in England, or he would take his family like down south where it was warmer. And then he would come back, and then he would like work on trying to like install new things or wanting to do new things for like a week, maybe 2. And then he'd tell us he's going on vacation again. Also, this was the owner of the business that I worked at that went down to City Hall while me and my coworker were manning his business so that he could tell the city council that they shouldn't raise the hazard pay. He didn't see the irony nor the hatred or understood the hatred that me and my coworker gave him when he got back and told us that they had denied the raise to hazard pay. He was so fucking proud of his smug self. Cherry-filled donuts forever. I think I usually find raspberry. I think raspberry is usually the jelly-filled donut that I find. No, they have to be weird ass. Are you talking about the... Oh, you're talking about the ovulation website that's already been taken down. Oh no, the British are growing? No, that's illegal. That's against, I'm pretty sure that's against human crimes. Yeah, we tried to open it yesterday. We tried to go to the website yesterday, but it didn't work. VTuber. Ovulation tracker. Oh, it works! Oh, never mind, it's back up. Oh, no. Oh, no. The thing is, though, is the well's probably already been poisoned. Cynical Beanicle, Maple Ushiko, Sayu Synchronicity, Pandawa Shy Lily. Hold on, I want to see if there's any others oh, Ellie's on here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Looming. Why is Gura on here still? That's so... Evil Neuro? Are you serious? VTubers tracked 478. VTubers with data 389. Kobo is on here. Is there a way that we can just add a VTuber? Oh my god, it's self-selecting. You can now file a report with the reason remove request. We are not associated with any crypto coins, and I speculate that they are rug pulls. Also, there are no official social media accounts. It doesn't look like there's actually a way to check, like, agencies, add evidence. See all trending VTubers? Fauna is on here. So it looks like, oh, uh-oh, Pippa's on here. Ooh. 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 Hold on, let's see if I can find anybody that I know for sure is like physically, it's physically impossible for them to be any of the descriptions that they have in here.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Oh god, Krelly's in here. Although Krelly's such a fucking kook at this point, I wouldn't doubt if Krelly submitted herself. Was one that was false? Oh, of course it is. I mean, most of them are probably fucking wrong. Because they're based off things like as minute as, oh, I have a headache right now, I'm not going to stream. Or anything like that. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's any way to see what every VTuber is. Oh, good lord. The thing is, too, is I know there's people that started submitting information here from other VTubers just like to put them on here. And so there's no telling how true literally any of it is. I'd laugh my ass off if Joel was on here. That'd be so fucking funny. Uh-oh, Apollo's on here. I don't know if the numbers next to their profile pictures is like the amount of evidence points. All right, I'm going to do the regrettable thing of clicking one of these to see your... Jesus Christ, there's a whole calendar. Oh, there's more than 2 observations. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, but Apollo's also actually making Twitter posts that say when she's... Huh. How many points is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points of data for this one. Can I search? Oh, I can search myself. I doubt I'm going to be in here. Here, let me search somebody that I know is in here. Let's do... I don't think the search bar works. There is a search bar on the page, but it doesn't do anything. Like, I can put in any name, even ones that I know are in here, but when I click search, it does nothing. Is it a button? Is it even a button? I don't think it is. I think it's a picture of a button. No, it's not a picture. I don't know, but I think this dude fucked up his website. The search bar doesn't do anything. We need to know less about each other. Yes, correct. Correct. God damn it, I just closed the browser page. Wheel of punishment, wheel of punishment. Don't be Chef's Club. Don't be Chef's Club. Don't be Chef's Club. Halo, what have you done? Schmugs. Schmugs. Oh, fuck, it's burpees. Oh, man. All right, hold on. Gotta do burpees. Schmugs. All right, hold on. Let's do chat. There. Schmugs. Oh, I need to bring the screen down. That'll be useful because then I can also show you all the fucking burpees. Not the burpees, the fucking... Here, there you go. There's the burpees. There's your proof that I have to do burpees. And then Halo Doodle. Schmugs. Schmug and squat. God damn it. Never Google yourself. Why not? I mean, go do it with like, what is it? Like incognito or whatever the equivalent is on your browser. Because then otherwise you're just going to get like all the stuff that quote unquote you want to see as Google dictates it. Really just saying your password classic? I've never said my password. Yes it is. Yes, it is. Hi, Steve Rock. How are you doing? That's why I use incognito when I search for plane tickets. Really? I just end up using things like, is it kayak or is kayak for hotels? Not Trivago. Isn't there one that starts with a P? I always use one of those compare websites, regardless. Tinder is the Flesh. Recently, it's in my backlog of books. I'm only about 3 chapters into Tinder is the Flesh, too. Because I've been listening to 1984 as an audiobook when I go to the gym. Oh, right, yeah, obviously. Obviously, it's the perfect password. Nothing like a jet tube hot. Oh my god. Thank you for self-care, Pippin. All right, kids. Let's do these workouts. I'm gonna do the burpees first, and then we'll do squats. And I have to take off the headphones to do the burpees, because otherwise they just start falling off regardless. Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Okay.
There's our man. There's our man. There's our boy.
Okay. All right, now we got to do the 20 squats. Those have gotten a little bit easier. A little bit. Not much. Lunges. Wait, did you ask for lunges? Let me see. Oh, that's more squats. Who asked for lunges? Oh my goodness. You know what? This is perfect. There you go, chat. There you go. That's what you're getting while we do these workouts. Okay. So I missed the other squats from before, so I gotta do 40 squats. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh. Beefcake. I'm sorry for being tempted to exchange for that. What do you mean? Okay, still gotta do 20 more. Okay. Roundhouse kick, gonna get some. You're gonna get some is what you're gonna get. All right. Oh, hey, it's Kiss. All right. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. All right. Sorry, I'm doing squats. Okay. I had to do burpees for the wheel of punishment, and then I had to do 40 squats. Exclaims Roadhouse. Oh, no. All right, champs. Whew. Are you ready for game? Is it game time? Even though we're probably going to have... I don't know, we're 40 minutes in. We still got like 20 minutes till game. Whew. Okay. Yoink, yoink. Game! Also, I already recognize that fucking boy cage thing. Hi, Will Bill. How are you doing? Game time. Yes, game time. Here, have music. Oh, there it is. I was like, why is it quiet? I've been hearing it in the background this whole time. Wait, was the model just lagging again? Hold on a second. Oh. Oh, when I click into the game, the model freezes. What the fuck? Why? Is it because they're Unity? Do we PNG? Question mark? PNG time? Or No, I shouldn't cancel the whole thing. We should just PNG. I was gonna be like, or we go play Marvel Rivals. But no, we're not gonna do that. Also, what do you mean you just joined, Charlie? You've been here. Uh-oh. And then I click off. And I'm fine. What the shit? Is it like intercepting like camera signal or something? Well, the thing is, it could be, but I literally can't change it. There's no option to change it. Again, there's, well, here, turn this on. Because then it may be forced to limit the, oh, hey, it worked. Okay. I was gonna say, just turn on VSync. Give it the VSync settings. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's put our arms down. All right. No more music. Now, chat, welcome to the 18th Attic. I don't know too much about this game. Steel Krill, the developer of this game, shot me some DMs a couple weeks ago asking if I was interested in the game. Apparently, to my knowledge, it is a... Oh, there's a how to play page. We can go there. Why did the boy stood up? I don't like that. Scan your surroundings carefully. If anything changes from the default floor, it's an anomaly. Be sure to get close to any anomaly when taking a picture. If something is different, it means there's an anomaly. When you encounter an anomaly, equip your camera from your inventory with tab and get very close to the anomaly. Press right click to point at the anomaly, then press left click to take a photo using the camera to remove them. Beware of things that change. Every time you take a photo, which does not constitute as an anomaly, you will use one photo cartridge. Be careful not to waste them, otherwise you will not survive. Items such as medicine and photo cartridges do not count as abnormalities or anomalies and can be found around. If you find a photo cartridge to use, press tab, click on the photo cartridge, select combine, and press into the camera to load them, a la Resident Evil. If you do not find an anomaly, climb the stairs normally. An anomaly could be a shadow, a person, flickering lights, things that shouldn't be there, or something strange. If things become too tense, you can pet your cat to reduce stress level. Having too much stress will make it more difficult to identify anomalies. Oh! Hey, buddy. How you doing? So I can already tell you that this is definitely a Unity flip game. Observation Attic, yes, the Observation Attic. More relaxed version of the game, you won't be chased around by any entity when you're looking away at some... You get a feel of the game and story. However, if you want something more they misspelled anxiety. Filled with an entity chasing you while you have to take pictures of anomalies, then select chase mode. Fuck no! Yeah, I'd rather do story mode. I don't like that. Moth. Okay. Pictures always reveal the truth. Strangely enough, there's a photo of me sleeping taken from the corner of my room. What? I live alone. The camera's my only witness. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. That's too loud. Also, the pause does not actually pause the game, apparently. That's not good. Okay, hold on. Can I change sensitivity? Okay, that's a little bit better. Photo cartridges and medicine don't count as anomaly. Take if found. Mimdicin. Wait, does that mean I'm gonna get hurt? Oh, I do have a health in the corner behind me. Do I have a flashlight? Am I not going to turn off the shower? Really? Oh, I don't have the camera yet. Is that rain? Kind of. It's kind of rain. Good Lord, the shadow. Be mindful of anomalies. Have you seen an anomaly? If you have an encounter with an anomaly, get close to it and snap a picture with your camera facing the correct direction. This will remove the anomaly. If you do not encounter an anomaly, you can continue without any problems. Thanks, newspaper.
James, I'm up here.
Emily?
Who? Interact with animals that show decreased levels of cortisol, a stress-related hormone, and lower blood pressure. Whenever you are stressed or feeling like losing your sanity, pet a cat. Oh my god, we get to change the cat's appearance. Okay, you're getting a top hat, and you're gonna be orange, and your name is going to be Cheese. He is Sir Cheese Chesterworth III. Oh, that's not the way. Is there attic? Hello? Oh, duh, the stairs. Wait a second. Also, the amount of dust in the air here. What is up with this house layout, my man? Cheese! Camera. Meet your cat for cheese. Pet kitty. Okay. Also, why do we own this? Burb. Hi, antler lady that definitely isn't gender bent. Hannibal Lecter from the hit CBS series Hannibal. Finance Day. What happened on September 18th? Ooh. Okay. Isn't this the same dress that's in, oh, what is it? Not the Poltergeist. A gun. Single shot, looks like. What's the game? What's that ghost hunting game that, like, one of the first maps you get is a house that, like, way in the back is a dress that if you stare at it too long, a bride scares the shit out of you. Hello? Oh, hey. Am I gonna have to count the number of flowers that are on this board? 3 clouds, 4 flowers, sun. Both of these weren't offices, were they? I'm pretty sure they weren't. Oh, I guess I was wrong. That's fine. We have like... Oh, no, we're down to 3. Said we had 4, and I picked up 4. Were you always there? Damn, I should have taken a better look at the other place. God, I do not like the fact that the snares go snappy snap. Wait, what? This house is so what? Okay, I guess you are supposed to be in there. Okay. Also, we have 3 still. I guess? Do we? Hello? Okay, I guess that was always double office. Hannibal Schmecker. The Hannibal Schmecker. All of these people are... Jeez. Look at you, handsome man. I know something's going to happen with that antler lading, and I'm not prepared for it. Moving right along. Again, those board snaps freak me out. You know, I hadn't noticed that those things were closing behind me. Oh, the antlers. Father, she's dead, isn't she? Oh, right, the shadows can be different. I forgot they did say that. Who was that? Scrimpin, thank you for the follow. Scrimpin ain't easy. Scrimps is bugs. Hi, cheese. Hello. I thought I heard a TV going. Oh no, there's gonna be something in that drawer at some point, isn't there? And I'm gonna miss it. You're gonna love it, am I? I don't like the fact that this boy has glowing eyes, by the way. More photo cartridges. I don't know what's up with the weird, like... Y'all see what's, like, kind of acting like a flashlight when I move? Right? Look at that. What is that? Okay. I really do like anomaly spotting games, especially, what was it? Shinkansen Zero? The one that was like on the train that Chill is made. That one was really good. Maybe we'll play that one again someday. Again, though, why is the audio for like rain falling on the wind? Aha! Oh! Aww. Oh no, the fact that the camera was up here and is all busted though means that he gave up on it at some point. Egg's name was kind of lame. I liked Exit 8. Did you know they're making a movie? Okay. You have bad takes? Exiting was great. It was very much a minimalist game, but it was good for what it is. I am curious to see how the movie's gonna go, though. I'm pretty sure it's being produced in Japan, so it will probably require subtitles. Okay, you still only have one arm. It was meant to be a hard game. Yeah, it was meant to be spooky. It was meant to be finding the horror in the mundane. The constant repetition and the eventual erosion of sanity was kind of supposed to be the bit. It's very good for what it is. For a very simplistic game, it's very good. See the movie? We may, if the movie comes out and I have a way to watch it, we'll probably show it in the Discord. Make it to the 10th floor. Something just happened. A door just opened. Where did a door just open? You know, I actually have not been looking up. Is that... Why is there a window in the attic? Who puts a window in their attic? Oh, it was this. Nope, that was not an anomaly. Oh, it was. Okay, never mind. Or skylights in an attic? You don't do that in an attic. It defeats the purpose of an attic. Also, we're gonna pause right here because the ad break starts in like 45 seconds. And I think this is kind of the only point where you're not just, where you're like perfectly in between the floors. So, oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the other game. Yes, excellent. Excellent. All right, chance. Game time. Game time. What do you mean you aren't putting a window in a room? I mean, you put it in most rooms, but the attic is usually where like a bunch of utilities and or storage and stuff is. So, and it also kind of one of the places where you like put a bunch of insulation and stuff. So you don't really want the external temperature changes that comes with having a window. This is the full-on room. I mean, kind of. It still kind of feels like storage. But I mean, I guess, yeah, if you're using your attic to its fullest extent, I suppose it does make sense. But I will give you all the music, and I will cease the rain, and you will not put the ketchup on the bob. But I will be back in a couple minutes, chat. I'm gonna go find something to nibble on. I haven't eaten today. Nobody do anything, because I'm gonna go eat after stream. I'm going to my favorite Cajun place. Weekly visit to my favorite Cajun place. All right, kids, what did you do? Did you break anything? Nothing. Well, at least you finished the level. That's something. All right. Yeah, we'll wait till we finish this round and then, hi, queens. Put this down. Do that. Do the thingamadoohickey. Thingamajig with the doohickey with the something or other. And then actually look at the flags, idiot. Well, Spain's 17. Nah, man. Oh, wait, I did get that one. It was just delayed for some reason. That was weird. I thought it was wrong. Shit. I'm struggling. And we failed. Are you enjoying this lovely horror game? I mean, we've only had, what, like 4 anomalies? I think. I think we've only had like 4 anomalies. So... Art deck. What was that? You heard that, right? Sounds like something fell. Oh. Oh, okay, it seems like I can only hold a max of 8. Oh, yep, it does say 8 max. I only just noticed that. Huh. I only just noticed that there was numbers on the roof. Shadows? No. Nothing back there. Hi, Hull Rider. What are you doing? I blame the iPad lagging. I feel like it has something to do with this game messing with. Okay, no, that was the stairs. Never mind. The thing too is you can't rush through this. Cause like for the cabinet didn't open until we were walking past it. Also, I'm pretty sure I recognize this cabinet. It's one of the assets that comes with... Ah! Oh! What is it? Was it the chair? Did the chair move? Or is it the cockroach? Is the cockroach gonna happen again? Oh, it's the chair's here. The chair wasn't here before. I'm an idiot. The whole chair wasn't here before. It's the mannequin. It wasn't the mannequin. It was the chair. Because I remember her shadow being unobstructed. To buy a fanny pack? What are you buying a fanny pack for? Get a shoulder bag. Or wear it like a shoulder bag. sling bag, if you will. Oh, it was this chair. The chair slid over there. Shadow connoisseur. Listen, I have a oh, what's the word? Best player. You know, I haven't noticed this here before, but it's very plausible. Just it's entirely because I'm blind. Were there things flying around this lamp before? It's fine. We got extra cartridges. Okay. Wear it like you think you're cool in middle school? I think that's playing normally. I think we're good. I think we'll just keep moving. Keep moving. Oh! Don't look away. Don't get oh, I have to get past her though. Okay, hold on. Okay, so she's not much of a weeping angel. I lost 30 health on that one. I'm trying. Jesus. Also, she has a tiny little baby hand. Did y'all notice that? Did y'all notice she has a strong arm? Also, hold on a second. Trying to click off. There we go. Is she still up here? Okay. Okay, for a second, I was deeply concerned that she was going to be moving on at every floor now. Okay, that's fine. Shadow? Hello? Okay. Proper weeping angel etiquette? Oh no. She's very slow and she only tries to move whenever you're not looking. Okay. I think we just keep schmoving. Keep schmoving and grooving. Okay. Jeez. Jeez. He's such a distinguished gentleman. Is that you? Did you make the cat mackin sounds? Hello? Hello? Salud, Guillermo. Hmm. I wonder if her attacking me and having that tiny arm on the side was a visual glitch. I kind of wonder that now. Can somebody go back and... Oh, Jesus! Is that what happens if you miss an anomaly? Did we miss an anomaly for the first time? Okay. This radio sucks. Listen. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think that's supposed to be on. Oh no, she was a painter. Oh no, is this gonna be her? Oh no. Again, though, that rain is so noisy, constant, in your ears. I don't see anything. Painting. Four flowers, three clouds, one sun. That still seems normal, I guess. I think we're good. Okay, that's the same song. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be 20 or this is gonna be 19. You know what never clicked is if I should be checking my own shadow. Is it possible for that to be a anomaly? Okay. Again, the shit going on in the background. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. think this one's fine. I think we're good to keep moving. Hands are by our side. Unity, the shenanigans. It's totally not like the camera's just floating. Please don't scare me. God damn it. What did I miss? I think the cockroach is just a sign of stress. See, that's the downside to some of these games, is that eventually the changes or the differences become so minute that I don't notice them. Agents and defenders. Owls of hell. All right, which one of you is an owl from hell? Okay. Well, we got more cartridges. I really need more medicine. Red carpet, blue carpet, dark-ish carpet. You didn't notice the floorboards reversed? What? Were they reversed or were they rotated? I'm sure you're messing with me and that was not actually the thing, but you're saying it to be like one of the things that you would never notice. Oh no, was I supposed to notice if this one had pillows? I mean, we did just get more, so... Yeah, I figured. So, whose shadow was that? What? Oh, duh, it's her shadow, right? Yeah, that's her shadow. Okay. Okay. Combine that. Hold on, we got the bad brain. We need to go pet cheese. Okay. You can barely see it, but there's apparently a very tiny interface for the brain. Way down in the bottom corner. Light's off. Actually, I know this light's supposed to be on, but this whole section really doesn't look like the lighting is working properly. Also, the light rays coming off of this fucking thing. Jesus. Please don't. Okay. Okay. That's not cheese. What? Is that a meatball with like the cockroach legs? Yeah, I figured this would have was Ninja. That's why I stepped closer. 22. Kidding, talking about cheese. So like, it seems like the anomalies that we find, if we take a picture of, whatever message we get from like basically flashback voice, leans towards whatever the story is. Still the same song. The dress is gone. That was the same bridal dress ghost from that game I was talking about. Pretty sure. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Bird's fine. Windows, not window. Mirror's fine. Boy head's fine. Boy is fine. Boy. Double office, finance report. Number 18. Question mark. You. Did she always have that bands? Okay. Okay. Please don't scare me. Okay. If you can't tell, every time we come to that platform now, I'm doing like the lean back with like the one eye squint, just. I know something's gonna be different here at some point. Mendicen! Okay. Painting seems fine. That painting seems fine. I think this one's fine. Oh, there it is. James and Emily. I remember what name's that? Oh, wait, that was wait, was that the same names from oh, what was it? The Fierce Fathom game, the Castaway or the something like that. The vacation one where they like go to the rental house. And I guess like there's like a fake property manager or something. Y'all know the one, right? Pretty sure that was a Fierce Fathom game. You know, I just realized that doesn't say Hail Satan at the beginning, does it? Hello? Hello? Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Okay, I'm good. It says Hail Santa. Are you sure? Are you positive? I think this floor is clean. I think. I gotta keep looking out for that bear, too. Also, again, I'm pretty sure this is part of the kitchen set from the, what is it, HQ farmhouse. If you played that one, like, spooky farm sim, please don't scare me. God damn it! I only just got health back. And I don't want to start all over. Can I save? I could load game, but... Thing is, though, is I also don't have, like, a flashlight, do I? Settings, controls. Controller shutter? I can lean? Wait, didn't I just say it was X and Y? X and Y? That's so far away from each other. When I just realized, I don't think before when I looked at this jar, I don't think it had a shadow. I think that's probably what we're missing, is that like the shadows are fucked up and we're just not noticing it. Because I'm not looking at the shadows every round through. I hear sounds. What is it? You? Are you making sounds, boy? Look at me. But don't actually, because if you turned to look at me in that instant, I probably would have screamed. She's not top horror? That's crazy. Granted, there literally have been variety streamers that have played more horror games than I have in the past month. I don't know, there just really isn't much grabbing my attention recently. Can I get behind here? Oh, I can't get behind here. Oh. Huh. Are we good? I think we're good. Have your feet always been off the ground? Oh, well, let's see if we die, because this thing keeps dealing 40 damage to us. Okay. We didn't die. But that doesn't mean we won't now. Oh, he doesn't have a back. You have infinite film? Only if you get it right. Otherwise, I have 11 shots of fucking up. If you get it right, you don't lose film. If you get it wrong, you lose film. But I also only have 40 health right now. I have 40 health. Well, that ain't right. Yeah, that's definitely not right. The downside of not checking every inch of your Unity game. Can I crouch? Doesn't look like I can crouch. Oh, the names are gone. Do you like Markiplier or Mainly Badass more? I have no idea who Mainly Badass is. I like Markiplier though. Markiplier is a pretty good role model. Oh wait, I missed what she said. Was she upset? Bear, cheese. Horrors beyond my comprehension? Horrors within my comprehension. Pictures. You're still normal. Ish. TV. September 8th. You. Still the same. Hold on. Is Canary still alive? Because I feel like at some point the canary is either going to be gone or it's going to be dead at like the bottom of the cage. Very mellow versus Mark jumping at all kinds of things. That's why I compare them. I suppose it makes sense. I mean, when I used to play horror games by myself before I started streaming them, I didn't really get scared by them that much other than like shoulder squinch. But over time, y'all have essentially trained me to actually like react to getting scared. Because everybody likes it more when you get generally scared. At least visibly scared as a VTuber. Wait, what does that say? From work. Huh. Maybe I should have been looking at the backside of that more. I didn't realize I could actually walk on the door like that. I don't know, Mark quickly trains into horror games unless it's something linear. He's poker face at the end. Kind of, yeah. I mean, he's also a silly, goofy guy, so... I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times when I'm playing like games when I'm wandering around, I don't always say it. I do say it sometimes, but I don't always say it. But my brain half the time just goes, "Where's the blacksmith? Where's the blacksmith?" Clicker training your chat, no horror train your streamer. Yeah, apparently that is what we are doing here. I'm just gonna go and... Wait, mountain painting. Oh, that one looks the same. I'm gonna go take a closer look. Mountain tree lake. God, our hair is fucked up. I refuse to do anything with clicker training, especially because I hate the sound of it. All right, let's go see if we die and see if we totally missed. Again, I'm still waiting for this gun to disappear at some point. Okay, we didn't die. That's fine, that works out. That gives us more time to find medicine at some point. Hello? Burb, that's normal. You're normal. Pillows. Boats. We also haven't had like a light flickering one in a long time. What was that? Same painting, same larger painting. Again, I'm hearing these little clickety clacks. North America, South America on the globe. You! The baby! Of a clicker for Barrett to use? What does that mean? Isn't that just using Finn's scream as like a redeem? Or is it hunting down the old redeem of the long since gone? That was ridiculously loud. I think I actually got rid of that one. To the point where I think I deleted it off of sound alerts. I don't think it exists anymore. Trained on a screen redeem? Wild. For the 18th house. I genuinely don't know where the number the 18th attic came from. Again, I would... Oh, there's medicine right there. Let's say I would really love some medicine right now. So at least we can survive one more fuck up. Because we just made it to attic 40. We're now on floor 40. I just got the achievement. Shadows? Mayhaps? Shadow. Okay. Whew. I thought there was something peeking around the whatever has the curtain on it. Jeez. That's fine. I think this floor is fine. One's there. Same painting. Same painting. All right. Please don't scare me with the health I just got. Okay, we're good. Jeez. That is not the right reflection. North and South America. Office finance reports. Hold on. From work. I keep reading this sometimes. From wort. From wort. Sweet going in my performance notes? Son of a bitch. Oh, hello. Ugh. Wearing sweatpants? It's okay, I'm wearing sweatpants right now. Because it's the only warm clothes I have. I have like other sweatpants and stuff, but they're more made for working out where you're putting off a lot more body heat. And the carpet's the same. Is this one red? Oh, no, it was just a distance thing. Although for some reason it does have a wet effect to it. Okay. Hi, Slick. How are you doing? Welcome in. Where, oh, where can you be? Jeez. Mm. Four, three, one. Okay. This player. I think we're fine. I don't see anything. Okay. Buckle up. Step inside. Step inside. Thank you for the Vods, Slick. Welcome in. From Wort. Okay. 431. Books are all identical. You still haven't done anything. I know you're going to do something eventually. Canary's still fine. Pictures are normal. I heard something. Yeah, and this is also a piano that hasn't been uncovered yet. In, oh yeah, Texas, yeah. I mean, I did live in New England, but also my like electric blanket hasn't been working as well as I remember it working when I first got it. It used to be like really toasty to the point where I would never turn it above like 6. The last like 3 nights, I've been sleeping with it at 10. And it's still not that warm. What do you mean you're not good at baking, Queens? You gotta fix that. You gotta fix that. I mean, I've been learning juggling. It's the branding, baby. I found the problem. Cease. Man, go juggle. It's very rudimentary juggling. It's not like the complicated kind of juggling, like pins juggling or anything. Just balls. Juggling balls. Juggling chats balls. Step inside. Step inside. Yeah, I've got to learn punishment somehow. Safe Rock, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. 431. Books. Cheese. Pictures are fine. That's the same painting. Bird is alive. Did I check from Wort? Hold on. Ah, yes, from Wort. Okay. Damn you, skills. Skills. Shadow's fine there. I think we're good. Okay. God damn it. That's not the right one. Oh no, did we have kids? Oh. Hurry up, cheese. Reload. I need more stress-free. Oh, it won't let me do it anymore. That's fine. We did this floor. I would die for cheese. I would also die for cheese. I miss cheese. How you doing, wee wee? Pet cheese for more sanity. From Wart. Okay. Wart. Grinding some frame? What are you grinding? What are you grinding for? Pillows, chair, you, office, financial retorts. It's how I make fun of my, oh, hello, please, and thank you. Shadow. Ooh! Hello? What the fuck was that? Oh, okay, that was me, like, fucking up, going around the stairs. I need to build temple? Oh. Make sure you go get your, like, drop resource blessing. Go sit at a relay for, like, 20 minutes. Sit at a relay, go make lunch, and then come back. And then go run, Mott? I think Mott is the one that I've been running. Or is that for Argon cells? Argon things, Argon crystals. There we go. I think Mott's the one I've been running for Argon crystals. I have something like 40 something Orokin cells right now. Because I farmed a whole bunch at once and left with like 30 something and have just been collecting more over time. I can't find anything. I think we're good. I just realized, is that a cigarello that they like put out on the newspaper? It's kind of what it looks like. All right, let's risk it for the biscuit. We just got medicine. Let's see if we're just gonna get our shit rocked again. Okay, we didn't fuck up. All right. Wart. Okay. You're to the side. You're not supposed to be to the side. I saw you ass. I saw you ass. You're so handsome. Oh, yes, more medicine. Okay, we're just gonna hold that because it restores 40, so anytime we fuck up, I don't want to lose the, like, extra 20. Wart. Correct, 431. Office, financial retorts. It's reports, I know it's reports. That looks normal. Canary. Alive. Same painting. Boy. Cheese. Please, thank you. Pillows. September 18th, financial today. Strange lady with the weird engravings on her forehead. What happened to Attics 1 through 17? I could not tell you. What is this game about? That's what we're trying to figure out. Seemingly, it is a man going through his attic. It's basically an anomaly change game with like a overlaid story. I feel like if we kept going, we'd probably find out that there's like some travesty thing going on. He did get lured into his attic by the sound of his wife. Because they really seem to be in love. I think we're good. I didn't see anything. Does this usually have a drawer? I don't remember if it has a drawer there. Yep, cigarello. Risk it for the biscuit? Red carpet, blue carpet, darker carpet that looks red far away, but is actually like a really dark navy. Couch there? Was that couch always there? Maybe it was. Okay. Please don't scare me. We lived! Okay. 431. Floorboards creaking. North America. Pictures. Pictures are fine. Living canary, a painting. Boy. Cheese. Good boy. Bear. Boxes. Financial reports. Office. Tibet. Strange lady. Okay. Gather, it's him dealing with the memories he's trapped in his attic. That's what it kind of seems to be, yeah. Three, four, one, nothing. Boy, cheese. Okay. Okay. Canary's fine. Shadows. Oh, what about the boy's shadow? Okay, he's fine. Whew. My thing was, that one got me, and I wasn't even looking at it for the most part of it. I didn't even see what she turned into. I think we're good. Please don't scare me. Okay, we're good. Oh no, now we made it to 40. The last one was 30. And I think there's 55 floors in total. Nothing there. Books are all the same. Cheese. Still petable. Stupid. Office. Go back. Wart. Okay. Shadow. This is such a creepy fucking song. Hello, is anyone here? Anyone? Gun, painting. we good? Is it good? This plant was always here. All right, let's go be inevitably wrong. Daily News, Finance Today, September 18th. Okay. Stinky! What do you mean? I literally have a gas mask. Don't do it. Okay, we're good. So we'll stop here real quick for a pause. And the ad break is going to start any second. So let me give y'all the game. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I think we're just going to take a break from the game audio with some music. Especially because Sensor was complaining about wanting the... Hi, Blicky. Stinky! Not stinky. I took a shower before stream. Oh, wait. Is the gas mask emote not on Twitch? What is it called? I thought I put it on Twitch. Why did I think... There it is. Oh, stink. It was just stink. This Sunstar person seems to complain a lot. Yes. How did I let this happen? What, that you made it to 15 or that you're so low? I'm not stinky. I shower almost every day before stream. Sniff, sniff, snuff. What? Absolutely not. Also, hold on. Why do I have so many notifications? Okay. Okay. Ooh, Goopy got tacos. Ooh. Oh shit, tacos sound so fucking good, dude. There's that taco truck I was talking about that's in like the liquor store parking lots. Has birria tacos on its menu and they're like $3.50 a piece, which shockingly is not a lot because if I go to my favorite food hall, the other Mexican place that's there that sells tacos is like $5.50 or $6.50 a piece. Oh, I could just get a shitload of those fucking tacos, dude. Oh. Oh, but the Cajun food. I'm in ad jail, but just know that I'm antagonizing the chief with my evil psychic mind waves. I feel them. I feel the evil psychic mind waves. Tacos! Hi, Cobalt. Wait, that is an amazing taco emote. Oh, of course this is Andrea emote. She does Taco Tuesday every week. Sunstar! Why aren't you carrying harder? How could you? Still got, we'll do one more round. Why not? We got time. Evil mind waves, evil mind waves, evil mind waves. God damn it. Another taco. Oh, that's another Centraria. What? She has 2 Taco Tuesday emotes? Christ. What's the max number of emotes you can have on Twitch as a partner? Is it 100? I don't think it's 100. I thought it was like in the 70s. I genuinely have no idea. I don't even know how many you instantly unlock when you get partner. Who fucking knows? I don't know if you don't unlock any and you have to like get a certain sub count. Because I know some of them are locked behind like max sub count achievements. Unless you have 2 Taco Tuesday emotes. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I got the goal on this one. Hell yeah. Bomb is 44. Dynamite is 8. Yes, I get the bomb. I get the bomb. Trumpet 51. Oh, I thought I saw that. Nope, didn't get to get the trumpet. Damn it. Ooh, good last second calculator. Nobody move. I'm fighting Switch so I can be counted and play games. Play games. Oh, got you. You missed it. All right. Sorry, Huey Lewis. Back to the spooky game. Hello, horrors. 431. Wart, wart. Oh, I need to turn up my ears a little bit. No more Baron Go Square? Not right now, at least. Next commercial break, it'll still be going. What do I have right now? Shadows? Shadows? Shadows. Shadow, 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 shadow. You're in the right place. Books are fine. September 18th, finances, financial reports. Spooky lady, are you gonna scare me? Okay. That's fine. Chair's fine. Dress is fine. Painting lady is fine. Gun has done nothing this entire time. You're fine. We've literally only had one light flickering situation. I wonder how many anomalies. Don't scare me. Don't scare me. Don't. It's gonna scare me. I knew it. I knew we missed something. Cheese. Again, that is a graphical error, if I've ever seen one. Boy, boy, verb. Ting. Okay, bird's shadow's normal.
All right, time to execute
You
my
scared the
trick.
shit out of me.
What was?
Here, go get the spooky lady. Okay. She hides from the spookies? Yeah. It's not like I'm playing as the murderer in this game. Red carpet, bear, plants. Hi, Bizant. Shadow. Shadow. Small peepee. Small peepee right there. There you go, murder. Listen, I need more horror games where I get to do the murdering, okay? I need it. It needs to happen, and game companies need to start making it. It can't always just be Dead by Daylight. And then every single other one is a fucking asset flip. Asset flip copy of Dead by Daylight. Wort. I couldn't remember if I checked that one. Hi, Free. From your lunch break, what are you getting for lunch? I've been seeing a lot of food today for lunch. I've seen homies get chili dogs. I saw homies get birria tacos. I'm stuck between now getting Cajun food or getting a shitload of tacos and vibing out for the night. And I mean a shitload of tacos. $3.50. You think 8 tacos is a good amount? 8 birria tacos. All the way with the onions and the cilantro. Soft, baby. Always soft. Tortillas. When I go for 10, because that's $35. And I don't think they have a special or anything. Because if I go to the Cajun place, I think what I'm going to do, because almost every time I go there, the lady is always like, you getting that crawfish po' boy, darling? I'm like, yeah, I think I am. I think this time I'm just going to go. I'm going to slide $25 across the table and be like, surprise me. Is what I'm thinking of doing. Like, if you got shit that's like about to go bad or that you need to get rid of, slide it across. I'll eat that shit. I ain't picky. I don't have any food allergies. So I'm either stuck between getting a shitload of tacos or playing the Cajun gamba. I don't think we have a... I think this one's good. I think this one's good. Also, I have not been looking, I think, nearly hard enough for, like, supplies. Because I feel like we only get supplies, like, every few floors. Is that how it's supposed to be? Wait a second. That's weird, but okay. All right, let's see if we take her. Okay, thank God. Office, financial reports. Shadows are fine there. Does that shadow look weird to y'all? Is there another bird in that shadow?
Come on.
Hello!
Let's step into the macabre halls of the dark
Oh my God,
carnival.
it's a bunch of fucking bugs!
Enjoy the show.
Sunstar, get the gas! Halo! What are you playing Halo for? Is that what it is? Is that how I'm supposed to say that? How was your stream, Zevi? Did you have a good time? What were you doing with Halo? Were you doing Cursed Halo? I feel like you were playing Cursed Halo. Wait, weren't you gonna play Dinos today? Or was that the last 2 days? I think Dinos was the last 2 days. But welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? What trouble did you get into? Those of you who don't know me, my name's Martin. I'm the ringleader of the Dark Carnival. I usually play games that are dark, spooky, and terrifying, except I hadn't done that for the past month up until today. We are currently playing the 18th Attic. It is a, like, spot the anomaly game. So we are essentially going through this man's who wears sliders and sweatpants. Layer of memories. Also, that is not an anomaly. That is just a broken fucking graphic, and it bothers the shit out of me now that I've noticed it. But I hope you had a good stream, Zebbing. The little kitty munching on kibble. Oh, I know the video you're talking about. The one that's just making all the noises. She didn't stop wee-wee-weeing the whole time. It was special being this 2-player. Oh, no, buddy. You were playing. Okay, so y'all are doing the campaign. Okay, that's normal. Shadow. Oh, there it is. Is that the flesh ball? Oh no, that's a head. Okay, we didn't get jump scared. Wee, 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 wee. Wait, how old are we? Even more weaving? Wee. Four flowers, plant, bear. Cheese. This is our boy Cheese. He wears the top hat. Don't question it. Oh! You think that was there before I noticed the one in the corner was different? Or do you think that didn't happen until I took the picture? Okay. Oh, I don't know what floor we're on right now. We'll check in a second. So this game doesn't do the thing where like you have to go backwards or you restart when you get it wrong. This is the story mode, so it only has a certain number of floors and a certain number of things. Because otherwise there's chase mode. Oh, thank God, give me that. But you do have a health bar. Oh, we need to check the wart. For wart. Okay. Lurk, enjoy your lurk, Zebby. Go get something to eat. We were actually just yapping about food, and I'm stuck between getting a shitload of tacos after stream or going to my favorite Cajun place, sliding a 20 across the table and telling her, surprise me. Because I almost always just get a po' boy when I'm there. And I kind of want something new, but I don't want to make the decision myself. Okay, that's still the same thing. The boy is the same, but I didn't check his shadow, nor did I check the bird shadow. Okay, I think that's just another graphical bug that makes it look like there's a bigger bird in there, because that was there before. Hi, Jade. Is the wort of the Shingali?
What's your pleasure?
Steve!
What's your fear?
Thank you for Hello? Thank you for gifting a sub to Pantera. Wait, that can't be the first sub we had today.
Step inside, step inside.
Oh, maybe it was all stream streaks that I was thinking of. Sinister Demon, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I hope you had a good day and you're enjoying the show. But I think we're good for anomalies. All right, let's see if we get hurt. Also, yeah, so we're on floor 46. We're about to go into 46. Okay, we did good. 431 plan. Why are the leaves see-through? Boy, I hope that doesn't count as an anomaly. Okay, hi, Cheese. Have we not been getting subs? It doesn't seem like it. We only have one of the 5 daily subs. There's only the ones. I guess the ones that I was thinking that happened earlier today were all just... Here, let me actually see. Maybe the counting's broken. Maybe it's only counting gifted subs for some reason, so... Nope, there's bits. No, there isn't. Okay, yeah, that was the first sub we had today. Huh. Well then. Office to office financial reports. We need to check the wart. I don't think I've checked the wart. From wart. Oh, was that a light flickering over there? Or is that the painting flickering? Hold on a second. Oh, it's the graphics breaking. Okay. This is my penance? What do you mean this is your penance? Aren't you saving money to move, Miss Ma'am? I listened to this on this already, didn't I? The wee wee thing? I got you. Are we good again? Panning. Gun. But didn't we just have two that were nothing in a row? Boy, you're still fine. Marion, go wee 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 wee, if you please. It's making me think of the like this little piggy that my grandma used to do when I was little. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. Still waiting for something to happen with this dresser. All right, let's go be wrong. I was right. Okay, that's fine. We have some Mimdicin. Plant shadow. 431. From Wort. Okay. That's a deep cut. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. Good pets. I'm gonna take a picture of this because, again, it seems like it's definitely gonna be nothing, but I'm not super concerned because we have plenty of cartridges. What's that? Rain sound? Displayer, shadows, North America facing, pillows, Daily Wire, September 18th. I don't think I can turn the TV on. Takes pictures. Little piggies. What? I do believe this game is quite spooky indeed. Hi, Blicky. I do believe agree. God, I can't speak today. Save me. All right. Again, I swear there's nothing that's happened in like the pot's turned into a head. This has very obvious change, and then this disappears at different points. But we have seen nothing else back here. Box. Can I look in the box? I cannot look in the box. Buns. Moths. And then just black specks. Are the moths new? I'm fine with spending another one. I don't think the moths are anything. That's fine.
Step inside, step inside.
Yeah, piss flowered. What's your favorite drink? Beverage? I'm thinking of doing a fan art, but I need a way to visualize the drinks. Favorite drink? I think a drink that I would like constantly jump at the chance to have, and this is gonna sound weird. It's not an alcoholic drink and it's not a soda. If someone offered me this drink, I would probably almost guaranteedly say yes. It's a milkshake. I love milkshakes. Oh. I wonder if there's been things hiding back here before. Has ever been read before? Piss flowered. It's one hell of a name. Okay, we're just gonna risk it. Please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. Fuck! What is the difference? Oh, so hold on. Okay, the number's still going up. I don't get it. How minute is the fucking change? Is you? Is that painting? Is that picture right? That's fine. See, there's also a shadow in that chair. Okay. I'll think. Wait. Is there any supplies in here? Because I kind of need some extra health. Please? Pretty please? Pretty please. Cheese. Pet. Oh, I guess not. Okay, let's hope that we get a medicine bottle on the next floor. Why are you pissing in the carnival? Stop pissing on my carpet. Okay, you're always see-through. Office. Who's pissing? Piss flowered. How could you piss flowered? From wort. Okay, I guess they're supposed to be exactly identical. Oh man, it's not medicine. It's fucking more photo cartridges. Which means we have to get this one right. My favorite flower is pistor wort. Isn't it pistol wort? Am I just supposed to hold it? There's bathrooms! Although, depending on which ones you go to, they may do certain anatomy removals. That's just the way of the carnival. Stop pissing! I love the woke carnival. Oh my god. I mean, it's always been woke. Get your Schmeat room 10 out of 10. Where are they at? You know where the bathrooms are, Sunstar. I guess there has always been like kind of a lighter shadow going that way. Okay. Please don't die right at the end. I don't want to die right at the end. Shadow, shadow. Dress, photo, gun. Why won't you do anything? Painting. Painting? Like, finding the anomaly is safer. Again, boy cage. Does the chair always look like this? I think it has, but I have plenty of film right now, so it's not too big of a deal. Okay. Pillows. Weirdly shining. Still the same song. Don't gotta worry about the water bill for the bathrooms? I mean, yeah, we recycle here. Oh, wait. We've had a lighter this whole time that I've completely neglected. That could potentially help in, like, noticing changes.
Come on, let's step into the macabre halls of the Dark Carnival.
Magpie!
And please, enjoy the show.
First of all, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Howdy, guys. What are y'all up to? Ooh, Jurassic World? Did you have a good time? Did you feed any guests to... All right, let's go see if we die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Okay, thank God. Hi. Okay. Or are we gonna find out that this is actually him dying? I feel like this we're finding out that he's dying and or dead. Cause like they mentioned how like they got married. He worked 2 jobs for them. Their like son like grew up to be a full-grown man already. Come on, give me some medicine. Pretty please. Okay, I don't have any medicine on me. All right, that's fine. Welcome to floor 51. Last mission of the campaign, but I'm building Carnoland USA, which has had minimal casualties. Okay, but who are the casualties? From Wart. Plants. 431. Dun. Cheese. Boy. Oh. Oh. Wait. What? What? Okay. Actually, hold on. Is there anything in here with her? No? Oh, damn. I'm still really hoping for medicine. I didn't miss any, did I?
Come come all, let's step into the macabre halls of the Dark Carnival.
Rage Quit the game was playing? Wait, what do you mean? What game were you
Enjoy
playing?
the show.
Crash of the Titans. What is that? Welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? 431, bear. Boy. Those are all identical. Normal. Bird. Normal. Cheese. Soft. Boy. Okay. Those are normal. Office. One of the lesser known. Oh, wait, what? Oh, Crash of the Titans, not Clash of the Titans. Oh. Why are so many people playing Crash Bandicoot games recently? But welcome in. I hope you had a good stream. Well, you did say you rage quit, but I hope the rest of it was fun. Again, we're not getting any medicine. I don't think there's anything. We did have like 2 obvious anomalies in a row. So I think we're good. Please don't die, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. Oh, thank God. Four, 3, 1. Warts? From warts. Okay. Exactly, rage quit. I just ran out of lives at the very end of the long level. Was like, fuck it. I don't have time to redo it before I have to go. Gotcha. Gotcha. Is everybody like trying to 100% Crash Bandicoot games right now? Is there something going on that I don't know of? Anybody? Shadow. Boy Shadow. Oh, hello. Wait, what? I was an idiot. For a second, I thought I saw the photo cartridges. I was wrong. Okay. So chat a game I grew up with? That makes sense. I mean, I do want to do a bunch more retro horror at some point. The thing is, though, is I struggle with retro horror because I'm stupid. And I'm really reliant on a lot of like modern systems that weren't a thing of classic horror games. Mini maps. General like quest direction. Oh, I think we're good. Oh goodness. That make you stupid? It just feels like one of those things that like I missed out on growing up and now I just can't comprehend. Like I could not tell you what my very first horror video game was, but it was probably on Steam. If that gives you an idea. And not on like any console. I don't think I ever had a horror story for any of my consoles. Trying to remember. No, I mainly played shooters on my 360. And RPGs. I did play RPGs on there, but none of them were horror RPGs. And all of my Nintendo consoles were just for either Kirby Air Ride or for Pokemon games. That was basically it. That was the plethora of my Nintendo games. It was Pokemon and it was Kirby. All right, I think we gotta risk it. Because I'm not seeing anything. Retry?
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Okay. Well, okay, so that's the same one. Lucius the game about I know that game. I've heard that game is like it's a classic, but it's not good in a general sense. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, we could play it if I had the chance to get it. Isn't there multiple? Is there 2 or is there 3 Lucius games? Sorry, I'm looking around because I'm hoping to find medicine. But I genuinely don't know if this one's going to be repeat. So if it is repeating, then they're going to be swapped. And they're still swapped. Okay.
Well, look at you.
Oh, pet cheese. Ooh. Oh, shit. 9.7. Hell yeah. Hi, Bentley. How are you doing? Yeah, that makes me feel like it's like bedside. But that also means that what we missed before is going to be exactly the same. Wait, this one was normal, wasn't it? Didn't it go anomaly, anomaly, normal, and then we missed an anomaly on the next one? Let's test that theory. I'm fine with doing the others. Okay, that was the case. Which again means that whatever this anomaly is that we missed is the same one we missed last time. Carpets? Is the thing open? Shadow? Nothing in the raptors. I feel like there should be one of the anomalies. Should be just something just staring down at you from the raptors. That would be interesting. playing all the games? I mean, over time, we'll play a lot of games. All the games. No, Veggies is probably closer to doing all the games than I am with his bad game bingo on Sundays. I like bad game bingo Sundays over at Veggies. I'm still waiting for my physical veg coin. Wait a second. I did get the stickers though. I did get the stickers. Oh! The books are gone. Oh. They misspelled together. Hey, Still Krill, if you're listening, if you want to send me your scripts whenever you do these games, I can fucking auto spell them, or at least I recommend you throwing them through an auto speller. Office, finance reports. From Wort. Plants, all the books are here. You're centered. You're not twisty. You're still a sweet pea. Have spawned thousands of other Anomaly games? Kind of, yeah. This one, I don't know who you can blame it on for the first one. Probably not Shinkansen 0, maybe Exit 8. But those are pretty close to the kind of the pinnacle. The thing is, though, is they're easy to make. Because they basically just require a bunch of assets, which these are. These are a bunch of Unity assets. Make a room, copy and paste that room however many number of times you need it, and then only change minute things. So for horror devs that want to make quick, easy games, Spot the Anomaly games are pretty high up there in comparison to, say, like a survival horror. Carnival Spot the Difference game when? As soon as I have enough money to hire a game dev. I think we're good. Chat, you don't see anything, right? September 18th, Daily News. Book, cats, boy. Bird, shadow's fine. All right, let's hope we don't go die. A tease drop for Siege that could be adding Solid Snake. What? To Rainbow Six? No. I mean, they already have Sam Fisher. That's crazy. Card sleeves from my MTG Jack? I wonder if I could get those made. I'm sure I could. The thing is, though, if I did get them made, I would probably make them in the same way that, like... All right, let's hope we don't die. We're gonna risk it. Oh, thank God. What are we on? On 55. It's a cutscene. I think? Is it? That was weird. I didn't move my mouse and it like looked up. There's something tapping. Oh.
Emily?
We also lost our camera, so there can't be an anomaly. Oh no. The house is on fire, isn't it? Oh no. And then there's the ash. Oh no. You need a D20. Oh, you need a Marin D20. Listen, after the move, I will try to get the dice making stuff off the ground.
I told myself I'd go back. I thought I'd have time.
Did he go outside and leave them to burn in the house? Why didn't they come out with him? What? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Terrible tragedy as a home was caught on fire the night of September 18th at New Pine Street, claiming the lives of innocent family. The flames consumed the residence, leaving only one survivor, the husband, who escaped after jumping from the attic window. He is currently hospitalized in critical condition with severe third-degree burns. Witnesses described him as disoriented and mumbling when found by first responders. Tragically, the remains of the family were discovered inside. Investigators revealed the victims were so badly burned, their skin had fused and melted together. They were found embracing one another in what is believed to have been their final moments. This heartbreaking loss has left the community in shock. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and authorities have not ruled out the possibility of arson. Our thoughts are with those grieving this unimaginable loss. A terrible tragedy as a home was caught on fire the night of September 18th at New Pine Street.
It's already looping. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think these are the representations of his son and his wife. This is just here. This is just here. So he went up to get his things and dove out the window? I'm not gonna lie though, I will take any amount of burn scars and trauma to get myself, the people I live with,
all together.
and the pets. They misspelled together the same way again.
I was supposed to protect you. I was supposed to save you. What have I done? What have I done?
Bird scars. Broken Shadow. Have a good night, Bazant. Thank you for hanging out. Bazant. Okay. I don't have anything else. Yeah, it's survivor's guilt, but also, what was he thinking?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You trusted me, and I failed you. I'm still here, and you're gone. I'm so sorry. I keep seeing them. I'm sorry. I can't anymore. I just can't.
Is it time to jump out the window? Uh-oh. The gun?
Coming home.
Well, look at you.
Kurt Cobain POV. Yep. That was something. It's the same sound effect over and over. It's the same like slopping off the sound effect. This is that had been a bad time. Are we stuck in cycles of guilt? Yes. Not anymore, but we were. God. Okay, well, I enjoyed that game. That was pretty fun. Although, the main part of that this game gave me, the main urge that this game gave me, was more to play a better, a better anomaly, a better spot the anomaly game. But, how are we feeling, chat? What happened? He Kurt Cobained himself with a single-shot smoothbore rifle. I think that's what that was. That's what it looked like. But it was basically, he was the last one standing. He was going through cycles of guilt over and over, reminiscing about his life, the love of his life, Emily, the birth of his son, all that jazz, all the way up to the point where their house caught fire somehow. And he decided to go up to the attic to try and save all of his photos and stuff, and said he can't take it anymore. He has to get fresh hair. And he jumped out the attic window, leaving his family inside. Listen, it's sometimes a mix of every man for himself when like your house goes up in fire. But god damn it, if I'm not going to do everything I fucking can to get like my pets and the people that are in there, everything else is replaceable. Everything else. So we didn't see a clean finish, huh? I'm pretty sure it's the actual end of the game. The thing is, though, is Steel Krill makes a lot of Unity flip games. Hold on a second. What is this? I'll get this later. But we didn't get a clean finish. I don't think you could have a clean finish in this game. The thing is, like I was saying, Steel Krill makes these Unity asset games and puts one out like every month, every other month. Thing is, though, is he works on them like all simultaneously and just kind of releases them. But they're all very much just one ending. There's not usually a whole lot of complexity in getting endings. Oh, 100%. 100%. We heard that at the end. That's why I stopped moving and just stared at the rifle for a second. Memories aren't replaceable, right? So photos also aren't by extension. Photos and memories are two different things. If you feel yourself that you're losing your memories, then yes, photos are the next best step that you can have. But this was a man who was a photographer as a business. Plus, the photos that he used for his job were published. They were still available. This was a man who seemingly, at least it's probably not supposed to seem this way, but to me, cared far more about his possessions than he did about himself or his family. At least in that moment, he was so wrapped up in the moment that he cared about the items that were in the attic related to his occupation before he considered the idea of getting his family out first. Oh, true. It's very just haberdasher slammed together, but you get that all the time with, what are they called? With indie horror games, especially single or duo devs. You just really don't end up with a whole lot of variety. But, who do we want to raid, chat? We could go another hour of yapping, but I'm getting hungry. Provide a rare sample, only learned that they were going to give me a kit to take home so I could produce a sample anytime, turn it in on the day off. Huh? And you aren't allowed to say one released in 2025. The perfect horror movie? There is no such thing as a perfect horror movie. Every horror movie is flawed to some degree. And I generally couldn't even tell you what I would like. The best movie I've ever seen probably isn't even a horror movie. The Monkey was enjoyable, but god damn it, I am so tired of seeing the main actor that shows up in that movie. Never mind, I take it back. Sinners is fantastic. Sinners has it. Never mind. I forgot about Sinners for a minute. Evil Dead 2013? You're talking about the one that takes place in like the apartment complex? That movie was fine at best. At best. How stupid either main character and main big scary creature is? Sometimes. Or how much that they like adjust the power level of creatures for the sake of moving the plots. Nosferatu 1922. You know what? You may be onto something there. You may be onto something there. The Thing is pretty damn close. The Thing is very damn close to being a perfect movie. But I'm trying to find anybody that's playing horror games. What the fuck is that? Okay. But 2.5 minutes. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I can find someone. I'm sure I can. Holy shit, Randon's back. Randon's playing Project Zomboid. I'm not really. Wait, is Kitty cosplaying right now? Holy shit, I think Kitty's cosplaying as fucking, oh, he's cosplaying as Vessel. We're gonna raid Kitty McPancakes. All right, chat, we're doing crime brulee. Oh, I put slash, not exclamation mark. Exclamation mark, brulee. All right, chat. Go give Kitty some love. They're playing Dead by Daylight, and by playing, I mean getting murdered in Dead by Daylight. Also, don't forget to call Jane a fucking nerd because they know he's gonna pipe up. You should bully Jane. You should bully Jane. It's funny. But until next time, guys, I will see you tomorrow for Mage. If I don't, I will see you next Monday. Until then, though, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for enjoying the show. Later. Oh, he did? Okay, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.